Hi, Sadis. How are you doing? Welcome to Nuance. Hope you are great. So, I don't know how I got myself in Asian community TikTok, and it happened that a Asian woman, she's Asian and white, saying that she doesn't like seeing in Asian stores. That when she sees them, she gives them bombastic side eye. So that's caused a lot of discussion, right? And some Asians think that is very crazy for her to say, and some think it's okay, that it's normal for people not to want other people coming to their stores sometimes and all that. Some people think, oh, why not? Why are you saying something like this when everybody should be talking about something? I mean, what is going on in the community or in the country and all that that is causing so much problem. Why this kind of discussion? The people saying that are people that are married to white men, because majority of Asian women are married to white men. So they feel like that girl's point is not making sense, right? Why? Because why do you have to say it when I am married to I have a trophy husband or something like that? But they are also going to watch these people, tell them to go back to their countries, come to their stores and disrespect them, come to their restaurants and disrespect them. Also, decided that they will build a restaurant where they will have to separate Asians and other people there. Are you people that ignorant? You see that modern minority. Let's get into this video.
I really am a nice person, but I can't stop myself from giving snark to the white people at Asian grocery stores. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I can't stop doing it. Like, I just side eye every time I see you there. What are you doing here? And like, arguably I could be in the right if they're like, you know, taking up space loudly in the way. But I do it even when they're not. I do it when I just see you down the aisleway picking out like your pre-made sushi. I'm over there like, and I know I'm wrong for it because like, especially if it's a small mom and pop grocery store, which I just got back from, like, go support them. Go support them. You didn't do anything wrong. I'm just a bitch. I'm just a bitch. I'm a really nice girl, but I'm also a bitch. And I saw this one girl who was in the grocery store. She was like down the way with like blonde hair and she's like looking at the packets or whatever. I give her this side eye. I'm looking at her. I see her giving me side eye back. She's like at me. I was like, and I know I don't look super Asian, but I'm like, I'm literally supposed to be here. I'm buying the foods that I grew up eating right now. And then she came closer and closer. And I saw this moment as we're both side-eyeing each other, where we both got closer and closer and closer, meeting in the middle of the aisle. And we both realized that the other person is Asian. We both realized that we're Asian. We both were like, And then we smiled and we walked away. It was almost Asian on Asian crime. But I think she was doing the same thing I was doing, giving me the little like, what are you doing here? Which is valid, but also white people keep going to Asian grocery stores, keep supporting small businesses. But I do hate it when white people come in there and they're like, oh my God, I've seen this on TikTok, and their kids are running around amok, like making a disaster for people that are just like buying their regular weekly groceries. I do hate that, but like, most of this is on me, and I'm sorry, but I'm also not sorry. Sorry.
Oh no. When I get tagged like this, it's rarely for something good. What did you do?
I really am a nice person, but I can't stop myself from giving snark to the white people at Asian grocery stores. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I can't stop doing it. Like, I just side eye every time I see you there. What are you doing here? And like,
That's not good. Don't do that. There's so much I want to say. I don't even know where to start. Couldn't help but notice that you follow me. And if you follow me, you know that I talk about food. I talk about food quite a bit. And the reason I talk about food is not just because I love food, but because I think food is a great unifier of people. If not the great unifier of people. Because somewhere along the line in everyone's life, they have some kind of attachment, some kind of emotional attachment to food. Everybody has a favorite food. Everybody has the last meal that they want to have on earth, or the smell of something reminds them of somebody that they love, or they have memories of having a late night snack with their dad. Anything, so many things. I think human beings have general curiosity, for food. And a lot of people want to experience foods, that are new to them. And a lot of that is done at the supermarket. So for you to not welcome people, not just not welcome them, but to actually like deter them, I really don't understand. Like when I'm at the Korean grocery store and I see a non-Korean person in the aisle, I deliberately linger. I linger just a little bit longer just in case they're like, excuse me, do you happen to know if I should use this or that for this particular dish or whatever? I want to be helpful to them because I want them to have the best experience with my food that they possibly can. And shit, right now, I'm going through this saga about Mexican sweet potato candy. I was at Northgate Market this morning, literally this morning. The way that people have embraced me on this journey, I kind of hope that I never perfect this recipe because I love this feeling. This feeling of like people welcoming me and not just welcoming me, tagging me, giving me advice, talking to their parents or their grandmas about what they do or how they make it, sending me DMs and being so helpful and earnestly like, we are so happy that you're enjoying the food of our culture. Like, what a beautiful way to connect people. Like, that's what we want. That's the goal. We don't want to side-eye people so they leave and never want to try it again. Or at least I don't. You're a person of color. We go through shit like this from other people all the time. Why would you want to do this to somebody else? Like a month ago, people at that restaurant, Great White in LA, segregating Asian people from other people in the restaurant. We don't want that for anybody. So yeah, this video is, I don't know if you care, if I care or not, but I find this video incredibly disappointing. Discouraging other people from trying, new foods and trying foods that are of other cultures. I don't know. I feel like
I just saw this hideous video by this Asian American content creator who basically confessed that she side eyes and judges any non-Asian patrons when she goes to whatever version of Asian grocery store she visits. Totally get it if you're side-eyeing someone who's being disrespectful or mocking or, any of the horrible things that we've of course seen on the internet when ignorant white people go into a space that's supposed to be a haven for non-white people. But she specifically said that even when they're not being disrespectful and they're just minding their own business and trying to get a good deal at the Asian grocery store, she's still judging them. I find this content to be so freaking tone deaf and disgusting. We have a situation right now in our country where 42 million people have lost their food benefit. Those food benefits, by the way, were a whopping $292 per month per individual. We live in one of the wealthiest countries in the world, and 42 million people, the majority of which are children and the elderly, are losing their food benefits and going hungry. They are dealing with unprecedented levels of food insecurity, and this little content creator is trying to gatekeep a grocery store. Not to mention the fact we're also dealing with a crazy president that is instituting tariffs just because he freaking feels like it. Guess who those tariffs are hurting the most? Immigrant-owned businesses. So this influencer wants to weaponize and exploit the legitimate struggle of her ancestors and the ancestors of millions and millions of immigrant families in the United States to deprive 42 million people who are already dealing with unprecedented levels of food insecurity from a grocery store that could actually provide them with cheaper produce than many Western-style Whole Foods and Erewhons. But she also wants to do damage to the immigrant families that actually own these grocery stores. This is when stupid feeds the ego, but doesn't actually feed anybody else.
With all due respect to these three older Asian creators, Sujia, Ed, and Joanne, they all made their own take on why white people should be allowed in H Mart. And essentially it's the same video where they're saying that we should be preaching love and acceptance and food as a unifying theme and allow these white people and non-white people to try our foods. Which is fine. There's a time and place for that. But the original creator isn't saying that white people shouldn't be allowed in H Mart. That's not the argument. She just side eyes them because there might be unknown reasons why someone would want to shop at H Mart. The biggest thing in the debate that I see in the comments section, which I think only Joanne's the one liking actual comments where she's saying that because she's Asian, that it's either an internalized white battle inside her or she doesn't have the agency to speak on this issue because it's an Asian issue. I kind of roll my eyes even more at these creators because one of them has a white husband, the other one mostly dates white people, and the third one's unknown. So already, right at the bat, I'm like, okay, I don't know if you can speak on this issue because you are already a little bit biased, and I'm sure you want your husband's age. 5 minutes of being stared at in a grocery store, it will never be oppressive to white people. I think that's the nuance that all these creators are missing. I don't know why they're acting in arms like this is the most oppressive thing that we as people of color could possibly do to white people in a grocery store. And to say that we have to be super accepting. I'm not saying that white people can't shop at H Mart. I'm just saying we don't need to celebrate that they are willing to shop at H Mart. We don't need to celebrate that they're open minded and want to try a new culture. They can just do that and exist, and we don't need to give them validation because that is the lowest bar for white pandering that I've ever seen.
I really am a nice person, but I can't stop myself from giving snark to the white people at Asian grocery stores. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I can't stop doing it. Like, I just side eye every time I see you there. What are you doing here? And like, arguably, I could be in the right if they're like, taking up space loudly in the way. But I do it even when they're not. I do it when I just see you down the aisleway picking out like your pre-made sushi. I'm over there like,
I can't tell if you were just joking, but you should take this down immediately. The thing is, we all are foreigners in other people's spaces too, which means that we all experience feeling like a fish out of water. And even though I've been to them many times, every time I go to a Vietnamese, a Thai, or even an Indian grocery store, I feel the same way. I feel so uncomfortable and out of water. And even just the other week, I went to Mercadito for the first time ever, which is like this shopping center inside of a building with a bunch of stores and vendors on both sides. And honestly, I was the only non-Mexican person that was there that day, and I felt so uncomfortable, so insecure, and I almost walked up and down trying to figure out which one I wanted to, trying to work up the courage to even talk to someone. And it wasn't until one vendor saw me fumbling around, smiled at me and said, "Welcome. What do you need help with?" And if you see obnoxious people being there to be disrespectful, that's a whole completely different thing. I would punt them out of the store myself. But you need to think of the impact that you're having on people who are just trying to learn and appreciate our cultures. In fact, every time I go to the Korean grocery store and I see non-Korean people that look like a fish out of water and look anxious just like I do, I go up and I ask them if they need help. In fact, it's almost always in front of the same places, in front of the meat counter, the snack aisle, or in front of the gochujang. Literally last week I was at H Mart in Koreatown, Los Angeles, and I heard these group of students, this cluster of like 4 or 5, talking in the snack aisle, and they were so flustered on what to get that I overheard them say, "Let's just get different flavors of Oreos that we don't normally see in American stores." Do you know how disappointing it is to work up the courage to go and try something new and then come home feeling like a failure? So you know what I did? I stopped them and I said, "Hey, these are some of my favorite snacks. These are some of my favorite snacks when I was a kid. You should definitely try these. Definitely get 1 or 2 of those different flavors, but you should try some of these." That's it. It took all of 10 seconds. Those kids left there feeling accomplished and hopefully with a new fond appreciation for Korean snacks. And I left there feeling good, knowing that there were other people enjoying the foods that I grew up on. And that's literally it. And you say that you're going through something right now, so one word of advice: when you're going through darkness, being kind and bringing light into the world helps you to make that darkness a little less dark for you. Just something to think about.
Oh no. When I get tagged like
I find it ironic how some Asian influencers can justify anti-blackness in Asian spaces, yet are so eager to pander to the white community and make them comfortable coming to Asian grocery stores when they are the same people who shamed us for our school lunches until it became trendy and profit from our culture. Noted. And these are the same influencers who won't talk about Palestine, Sudan, and Congo, so I don't want to hear that.
Listen, as someone who's well aware that Virgos are not safe this retrograde season, I am really minding my business, okay? However, I just want to just tiptoe in the Asian community and just see what's going on and then tiptoe my black ass right back out, okay? there is a content creator. And she was simply saying that as an Asian woman, when she's in Asian markets and she sees, she is a little snarky. She gives them a little snarky look. And I love that she's saying snarky because, like, okay, girl. And, like, okay, she's just saying, like, why are you here in my market? I mean, go ahead, shop, but, like, why are you here? Girl, I get it. I get it. Because they are colonizers. They are usurpers. They will Columbus everything. And we've seen a history of them doing this. But, yo, my issue is, or not, it's not mine because it's not my business. My question is, why are some of you huge Asian content creators coming on here reprimanding her? Like, how dare you have a thought of snarkiness or a look of snarkiness at Becky and Ginger and Julie? Are you serious? That's my question. Are you serious? Because my thing is, for me, because I'm not Asian, I'm Black, American, like blackity, black, black, black. Like, my people come back, like, go back generation. Okay, that's me. And my ethical practice is to do no harm to other Black women, right? So I like to keep my mouth closed about other Black women, unless the only time I'm going to speak on you is if you are harmful to children or you have a serial pattern of anti-Blackness. Outside of that, like, it's just a conversation. You won't see me come on here reprimanding folks. And I'm just like, why are y'all reprimanding her? Why are y'all coming to the rescue of Mary Beth, Kate, and Ashley? Like, what in the non-decolonized minds is happening here? Like, I mean, large content creators like Sujia and I don't know her name on here. I know on Instagram, where I used to follow her, she's the vegan chef or something like that. Joe Beth or something. I don't know. But yo, like, what is that about? Like, didn't y'all just literally go through this last year, the Asian community? And I know there are, like, different parts of you, but, like, y'all were upset that these colonizers were trying to Columbus boba tea. Like, introduce it like, I have this fabulous new idea. It's centuries old. I understand y'all have some real proximity to whiteness. Some of y'all are married to white men. And even the young sis who made this video, I think she calls herself a Asian, which is, like, I think white and Asian. So I think she's biracial. So, like, they both are people. She can talk about it. But some of you are fully Asian. So I just think that's wild. And I think it's, I guess, anti-Asian, and that it's really just like an extension of white supremacy. Like, I see how y'all move with your own, so I never question how y'all move with me.
Okay, really quick. There's a lot of discourse right now happening on here about white people in Asian markets. Now, if you follow me, you've heard me speak quite a bit about being raised in the San Gabriel Valley, where, yeah, I was around predominantly Chinese people, and there's a lot of stuff that I eat and consume that I would say is probably because I developed certain tastes and interests, because of where I grew up, right? And I regularly shop at Asian markets. Regularly. And I know before I started doing that, I was always really worried about people not liking that I'm in the Asian market. In fact, the only reason I started shopping in the Asian market is because my ex, who some of you guys may remember because I used to bring him on here, was part Japanese. And I think for that reason, I felt comfortable going in there with him. But he's Asian in a, like, Asian people could see that he was Asian, but white people typically couldn't see that he was Asian kind of way. And he would always talk about how he sort of deals with feeling kind of like he's an outsider, even when he is Asian, right? But yeah, I wonder what this means for everyone else, right? Because growing up where I grew up and just I mean, especially right now, like my diet is predominantly like Asian food. Like very common thing I make is Chinese broccoli and chicken and oyster sauce. You know, it's just like, I don't know, like this is what I eat. If you were to go through all my cupboards, you're going to see mostly Asian shit, you know? So I don't know. I'm kind of curious how people feel about seeing Black folks in the Asian market, because I understand people's concern. I understand people's hesitation. You know, there's a lot of people who come into these spaces and they're there to kind of fetishize or whatever. But like, some of us just eat Asian food. You know what I mean? So I'm curious. I'm kind of curious about this because I haven't heard anyone else talk.
But I can't stop myself from giving snark to the white people at Asian grocery stores. I'm sorry.
And don't be sorry, because it wasn't that long ago when a white man was up a Korean ajashi's face because he was arguing with the Korean ajumas that he didn't need to put on a mask while roaming the store. And they were like, bitch, who do you think you are? And the H Mart ajashi stepped up and was like, back away from the ladies. I even got a shirt to commemorate this H Mart showdown. And let me just throw another angle to look at. I was talking to a Korean mom who was very proud that her daughter is super into K-pop demons. And for Halloween, she was super excited that her daughter has representation that can be 100% her. But come Halloween, all the K-pop demon hunters are sold out because every little white girl wants to be one too. But remember when Black Mermaid came out and all the white parents were losing their fucking mind? But if a little black girl, a little Asian girl at the hype of Frozen chose to be Elsa, there were plenty of little white girls that were like, but Elsa doesn't have black hair. You can't be Elsa. I've heard plenty of stories like that from parents of non-white, non-blonde girls. But God forbid you talk about making white people uncomfortable. Even though if you listen to the whole thing, it was a joke because the girl is half white herself. If you actually took in the full content from beginning to end, it was self-deprecating humor because she is not just Asian, but white also. But I just knew when I saw that video that she was gonna get sent a crusade of white people with pitchforks sent by the Asian people, gave them the thumbs up to say, go finish her. Because those creators make rage bait. They never cared about bringing the community together. It was all about speaking from a pedestal that they built for themselves, that they are the expert Asians, because they speak up about the bad racism that white people can follow along and say, yeah, those are bad racists, but not me, because I follow you, and only you can tell me what's right and wrong. And how do they determine how to make their content? Because all the white people that follow them, that got assured that they were the good white people, tagged them in that woman's video and said, I don't feel good about this. Can you talk about this? You are Asian. Speak up for us good white people. We do not live in a world where white people have to worry about going to H Mart, okay? They may get some side eye, because I myself have helped plenty of white fools that were lost at H Mart. And I also get side eye from other Korean shoppers at H Mart because that's what we do. Asians are full of judgment at what you're buying, where you're standing, and what you're doing. It's part of the experience. Honestly, I'm surprised that these creators that farm rage bait content to their own people because they've marketed themselves as the authoritative Asian person for the white audience is running on that same formula. Because isn't the jig up? What happened to the we need all representation? The Asian American diaspora is so vast. Just kidding. It's only okay if it's their story and they can make their cha-chings on white people's approval. Because if they really cared about community, wouldn't they have given some thought to what their video produces? Did they really speak up to protect white people from getting side-eye at Asian grocery stores? Because that's such a problem. I mean, did they give this woman who made the video, who's actually half Asian, what would happen to her if the white audience is given the order, yeah, go get her, because her take was so bad. How dare she victimize you white people? I heard she got dogs, right? I guess she wasn't Asian enough. Didn't they used to empathize on what that felt like? Nope, they sold that to the white people. Cha-ching!
I really am a nice person, but I can't stop myself from giving snark to the white people at Asian.
I don't know why people are so up in a roar about this video. I thought it was funny. As someone that grew up in Harlem, New York, I know exactly what she's talking about. So I vividly remember as a child, I used to live by the 1 train. I vividly remember as a child that white people never got off the train after 116th Street. That was Columbia University. 125th, 135th, you know, going up into Inwood, Washington Heights, that was Black and brown people. And that was just something I observed about my neighborhood as a kid. I also observed that on 125th Street, the street that I grew up near, there were never any white people. I remember asking my mom, like, why aren't there white people in Harlem? And she would tell me, like, oh no, on Sundays they like to come up and like tour the neighborhood because everybody's like at church. And sure enough, I remember going there a couple of Sundays after church and you would see like white people on tours taking pictures and stuff. That was the only time they were in the neighborhood. When I started growing up, going to school in predominantly white areas and inviting my friends to come back to my home, like to hang out with me, they would tell me flat out, oh, my parents don't want me going up there. They say it's not safe. And I would literally be like, but I live there. Well, I already like had the idea in my head that white people don't go to Harlem. You don't see white people in Harlem like that. And they think that it's dangerous. They think it's unsafe. So they're not going to come here. Imagine my fucking surprise when I start seeing white people in Harlem. Or the first time that I see a white person stay on the train past 125th Street. Yeah, I started noticing that. And it was the same type of, what are you doing here? It was also a little bit of a, oh, y'all fuck with us now? Like, when did that change? And that's why I found that video to be so funny. I don't understand how it turned into this uproar of, oh, she wants segregation. No, if you listen to the whole video, it's basically a confession. She knows that she's like wrong to have that mentality. She knows that's something that it's with her that she needs to address. She even says at the end of the video, like, keep supporting like local Asian grocery stores, keep supporting small local businesses, you know, like it's fine, it's cool. But like, it's a funny reflection. I don't understand how it turned into this whole thing of like white people need saving right now. I think white people are okay. I think they'll be okay after the video. I don't know.
So I've been listening to all sides of H Mart Gate, and it's such a fascinating anthropological study on like where the Asian community is at large. It's almost like a litmus test because it's actually checking like a bunch of things. The first base thing is like comprehension, because it's clear that most people did not listen like all the way through to the story. Because to me, like, the point of the story was Madeline says she side-eyes white people in Asian grocery stores. By the end of the story, she realizes that the person that she's side-eyeing is actually also half Asian, or Asian, you could say. And so it is this really interesting study of, like, internal bias, preconceived notions, and, like, a lot of food for thought for, like, mixed diaspora Asians. Something that as a mixed Asian, I also feel a lot of these echoes of like, what space do I actually belong in? You know, like turning the mirror onto myself. However, Youngmi Mayer did say something really, what I thought was pretty spot on. And that was that like the delivery and construction of the story made it accessible to have a knee-jerk reaction toward. And as a writer, like, let me break this down. When you start with like a grabby, hooky top line, the top line being, I can't help but side-eye white people when I go to an Asian grocery store. It is catchy because we are then forced as an audience to kind of think about how do we feel about these things. There's the very real feeling of people who grew up in marginalized spaces and, you know, white people terrorizing them for their food and their culture. And maybe because I'm 38, I actually have some pieces of empathy and understanding for like both sides of this spectrum. When I started first like TikToking, I was really wanting to like, you know, be the first person to think about something or speak on something, or I wouldn't like think through things as much. And so I wouldn't listen to someone's, you know, video all the way through sometimes. Or sometimes I'd only comment on the discourse of a situation. And I find it just adds like the cacophony, like the noise of a situation, which like honestly is like what's happening right now with what I'm doing. But I've also like been on the receiving end where I feel like my intention got lost because I was not able to concisely set up my intent in a clear way, like that pretty privilege situation, where the conversation I meant to have was not actually about pretty privilege, but because it's what I led with, that's what the conversation ended up being about. And it's interesting, I think, like as a community, as an Asian American community, especially an online Asian American community, I think we're not only discovering like a spectrum of thought, but also like a spectrum of reaction as well. And I guess being from the Midwest, like Ohio specifically, it is like delightful the fact that we do get to just even have so many different points of view, because our points of view are ultimately reflecting how all of us were able to like survive up until now. And so whether I'm like labeled as like an old TikToker or like a mature TikToker, like I've met a lot of TikTokers that both have a lot of strong opinions and people have a lot of strong opinions about. And sometimes I don't agree fully with how others go about things, or people don't agree with how I go about things as well. But it's also just like thrilling to be a part of like the next wave of, I guess, like Asian American identity being expressed. Because I think everyone on both sides like has good intent, at least I hope. But it is interesting, like the aftermath of being misunderstood or misrepresenting yourself on the internet. It's like, what do we do after that? That actually defines us, because it's easy to have an opinion, a knee-jerk reaction to something, but it's another thing to be like, like, what do I really think now that like a week has gone by? Could I have been more clear? Did I misstep? What can I do better? And that's what I missed on Glee.
If you're white and shop at an Asian supermarket, I'm helping you out. Here's some benefits of shopping at an Asian supermarket. The tofu is really fucking cheap. Probably the cheapest place to get tofu, honestly. And also, try Chinese tofu if you want something harder, and Japanese tofu if you want something softer. I honestly prefer the Chinese tofu. Personal preference. Some supermarkets have individual shops inside of them that sell like kimchi, meat on rice, stuff like that. It's all fucking good. Get a Korean hot dog, that shit will change your life. The drink options are also really cheap if you want to just stop by and grab like a quick drink. It's always something unique too. Like mogu mogu, it's like a drink with like jelly in it. It's not my thing, but I know a lot of people that like it. The Korean coffee that has BTS members on it, I don't know why. But I get it because it's a pretty nice cheap coffee. More fruits. You can try more different types of fruit. If you want to explore...
This is all I got from this video. I love the fact that some of the Asians are calling their own people out. Why? Because they know what they are doing. You see, this modern minority, I want to be like these people, white people, right? Now, let me tell you something. I am just going to give you some examples and cut it off. I don't care about them, but I saw them having the discussions, right? You and I remember that, I don't know where I posted, maybe Simnaya or Naya Sim, where I posted the video about white restaurants separating Asians and white people. They do not want all of them to mix together. So they have their separate where they sit, right? I brought that video here. Some of them were like, they can't believe this is happening to them. Some of them are still in denial. Why? Because they think they are white. Majority of the people defending the fact that I am not saying people shouldn't. I mean, people have every right to go to anywhere to shop and all that. But it's also okay for the people that own that place to say that they do not feel so okay with other people coming there to shop. That is okay. Probably because they may have had experiences that they do not like or that trigger them to say that, which is normal. Because of the world we are living in and because of the racism that you and I know that it exists, right? So it's okay for somebody to say that. Because I have also seen videos of these people going to Asian stores to make problems with them, to call them names, to tell them you don't speak English, you tell them to go back to their countries. Asians, I want you to know that I am actually not working with you, but I am just saying the truth, the things that I have seen, because when it comes to my people, I don't work with you people. The good ones, I work with you. But yeah, let's continue. Now, Suji is a big content creator, and majority of the other woman, majority of them are married to white men, right? So they are also protecting the other interest. One thing I will tell you that it's okay for the lady to say that her body aches or she gives them, but it's all right because they also do that to you. There are some places you might want to go to as an Asian, maybe a white-owned. You cannot go to a white-owned stores because they have all this, or there are some places where you go to as an Asian. They look at you first with bombastic side eye, like, are you supposed to be here, or can you spend the money, or can you, excuse me, are you sure you're not here to steal from us? And all those kind of tiny things they do. You and I know that they do it. Let's not start trying trying to be the best people and all that. So one thing I know for sure is that there will be people that will tell you, "Oh no, don't do that to them because they are good people. It's okay for everybody to be this," but they still do the same thing to you. They do it, and when they do it, you guys may not be able to talk. Some of them are married to white men, so they won't be able to even have a stand, because why would they have a stand when their husband is white and they are Asians? And some of them are saying, "How could she say that?" She said what she said. I don't care if she's lying or not or this, but what she said is actually true. Sometimes they make you uncomfortable in your own store or in your own place or in your own territory, in your own vicinity. They do it. It's nothing, there is nothing hidden about it. And trying to tell people not to say anything or speak anything about it, that people should shop where they want to shop, and saying something like that is heinous, and all that. Madam, keep quiet. Keep quiet. You guys are also, there are some people in communities that are usually the problems that people face. Why are they the problem? They are usually the problem because they do not say the truth. So I don't care. What I know is that everybody really got to stand on business. Yeah, because when white people want to stand on business, they do it with their whole heart. I have seen so many videos of discrimination, telling you go back to where you come from. You can't speak English. And that's why most Asian people do not speak up when something is happening. That it's your problem, actually, not my problem. But yeah, I love the fact that somebody spoke out. For those that are in support, okay. For those that are not in support, still okay. You guys know what you are doing. When you marry to your own oppressor, what do you expect? I'm not saying people shouldn't find out where they find. Most Asian people are used to marrying white people. There is nothing too huge about it. They love it with the other. It's like a trophy for them. It's a huge trophy for them. So if you will be respected more in their community if you are married to a white man. So it's like a norm to them. Their target is that. Yeah. Just like, is it the Kenyan? When they come to Africa, there are some people, it is their target to go after white people, after white men. In Kenya, sorry to bring African into this, but it's true too. I am an African, so I can tell you some certain things. In Kenya, when they marry white man, it's like the biggest trophy of their time. When they are traveling out, the only thing they tell them is to go and marry a white man. So you can imagine that kind of mindset. Bye for now.